Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
That may be what this is all about.
Is this all about respecting his own privacy, or is it about that the drugs dealer is never an addict? Hello, I'm Mohamed Mahmoud, and me and my colleagues are going to show you our opinion about how social media is affecting our everyday life. Our agenda will cover the effects of social media on lots of topics, so let's start. Have you ever asked yourself why most of us are so connected to our mobile phones and social media life? Why do these applications control a remarkable percentage of our everyday life? I know the answer. Maybe the answer is in catching our attention. Social media companies hire individuals that are called attention engineers. They borrow principles from Las Vegas casinos, among other places, to try to make their products as addictive as possible. So eventually they turn us into social approval addicts. Every time you post a pic or share your opinion, you look for social approval. Likes, comments, and shares become sources of dopamine and temporary happiness cycles. You turn into just like the coke or alcohol addicts. It doesn't stop here. Scientists have found out that people with higher activity on social media suffer from higher rates of depression. That comes from the concept of comparison that's present in the nature of every human being. The problem comes when we see the lives of others, how successful and how happy they are, and we just say, why isn't my life as happy and successful as them? We forget only one thing, that the only one that you should compare your life to is only your old you. Thank you. Ahmed Zaki will continue with you the effects of social media on education.
Hi, I'm Mohamed Zaki, and I'm going to talk about the negative effects of social media on education and how to fix these effects. One of the biggest negative effects on social media is that it has potential for distraction. A lot of students get distracted while using social media as a source of learning source, and instead they might browse into social media and scroll down in their feeds and respond to messages. Another big problem is that it may result in poor writing skills for students, because nowadays a lot of students use a lot of abbreviated words that may result in students unable to distinguish between similar words and might make them fail to write the correct word. So as to avoid the problems that the students getting distracted by social media, then they can turn off their alerts and notifications, and they can set a schedule where every 4 hours they might check if they have received any new notification. If they fail to make these two steps, then they might completely shut down their phone. And as a problem, because poor writing for students, they might improve their writing style, as they have to avoid cutting characters, and they have to be conscious of the grammars that they use, and they can follow authors on the Facebook, and as a result they will find themselves developing their style, as they can publish tweets on Twitter and or post on Facebook. Now Karim Amr will continue our presentation.
Hi, my name is Karim Amr. We previously knew that social media affected badly students, so let's see how it will influence our communication skills. To start with, it's shown that the most affected genre of people is the youth, because they prefer texting more than the face-to-face conversation. And as a result, our face-to-face conversation has turned to be through a screen, which is not good at all. Many problems have arose because of the social media. One of them is misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is a really big problem, because during any online texting, the sender cannot pass his tone with his message to the receiver. So a lot of confusion and sadness and madness that occur between the two people because of misunderstanding. One of the problems also is that it has been proven that we cannot pass our emotions and our feeling of interest with the text. So these are very important components between any two conversating partners. Also, our beautiness language has been lost, because slang language and abbreviations is now being used a lot. so grammar and syntax has been increased. Two important quotations by social media experts, R.B. Kelly and Capella, they say that our face-to-face relationships may be affected because of social media, and also social media may affect our individuals' emotions towards anything. Lastly, I would like to say that although social media has a lot of disadvantages, it has some merits. But these merits is conditional. We should use social media moderately and not exceed its usage to gain these benefits. One of the benefits is that you can reach people you cannot reach them normally because they live miles away, or you can gather your friends with using social media, or you can plan events and many others. Thank you.
Social media becomes an important way to communicate with each other, but spending long time on social media isolates you from the real life and increases the feeling of loneliness, and this affects your mental health badly. My name is Nada, and today we'll talk about the effects of social media on mental health. It was found that the way that people use social media may have more than an impact on their mental health. From this survey, we can conclude that 70 or 80% of the applications we use have a negative impact on our mental health. So today we'll talk about the negative aspects of social media on mental health, such as inadequacy of about your life in appearance. By watching photos or videos for an influencer or one of your friends, you start automatically to compare your life with others, and you start asking yourself, why I'm different? Why I can't have all these clothes? Why I can't get this car? Or why I can't get this job? And from this point, you hate your life, and you start, and it makes you depressed. Secondly, cyberbullying. About 10% of teens report being bullied on social media. And at this figure, it showed the increase of cyberbullying on social media from 2007 till 2013. At 2013, the number of people who've been bullied on social media is 503 million. So can you imagine the increase of this number if we talked about those days? Now, social media spreads harmful rumors, which leave emotional scars, and this led to depression and anxiety. Now we can say that social media is a secret killer of your mental health, as spending a long time on social media increases your depression, as it was found that by making eye-to-eye contact with someone who cares about you makes you feel better and reduce your stress and boosts your mood faster. Unlike the social media, it increases your depression, and sometimes it leads to self-harming or suicide. Finally, you should reduce the time you spend on social media and start to love your life and stop comparing your life with others to protect your mental health. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mohamed. I'm going to talk about the negative effects of social media on teenagers. Social media is a big part of many teens' life. A report was done on 750 teenagers from 13 to 17 years old. It was found that 45% of them use social media almost constantly, and 97% of them use social media daily. However, social media use can negatively affect teens. A report was done by Royal Society for Public Health states that the usage of social media is associated with increased rates of anxiety, depression, poor sleep quality, body image issues, and cyberbullying. In fact, rates of anxiety and depression have increased by 70% in younger people in the last 25 years. Body image issues are a problem for both genders, but 9 in 10 teenage girls say that they are unhappy with their body. Also, 7 out of 10 teens have experienced cyberbullying, and 37% of them say that they experience it very frequently. The report found that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube have an overall negative effects on the well-being of the new generation. All of these teenage problems are caused by social media. Now let's talk about how to protect your teens. Here is 6 steps to protect your teens. First, set reasonable limits. To avoid letting social media interferes with his or her activities, sleep, meals, homework. Second, monitor your teen's account. Third, explain what's okay and what is not okay. Fourth, encourage face-to-face communication with friends. This is very important. Fifth, make sure that the tools they are using is age appropriate. 6, advise them how to deal with social media the right way. Now let's talk about an overall conclusion. The excessive use of social media have a negative impacts on lives of people. The use of social media have caused problems with addiction, negative impacts on family as well as physical and mental health and communication skills, relationships. Also, it have a very dangerous impacts on children and teens. All of us have to know that likes means nothing. All of us have to know that people can't live behind screens. So we have to manage ourselves and know how to perfectly use those platforms to serve our goals, help us communicate, and short the distances. Not to get addicted to them and waste time and energy scrolling. Life is pretty awesome, so please don't waste it behind the screen. Thank you. If you have any questions, please ask us in the comments below and we will respond as fast as possible. Thank you for watching.